This is the location extracted from the assimilated Romulan Jalpa. The Romulan base holding the Omega particle is beyond this wormhole. Once the collective arrives, we will enter the wormhole, destroy all Romulan presence, and assimilate the starbase. Then Omega will be ours.
Borg Vessel 3169 has encountered the Romulans.
On screen.
We are the Borg. Relinquish Particle 010 and prepare to be assimilated.
The Romulans are aware of our presence in this sector. Our offensive capabilities are insufficient to assimilate them. We cannot wait for the collective to arrive. Assimilate all vessels in the sector to acquire sufficient force to begin our assault.
Welcome back to Star Trek Armada, guys, and yes, Locutus is back.
Relocate.
For those of you not aware, Locutus is essentially the assimilated form of Captain Picard, taken from pretty much the best Star Trek episode that ever happened, Best of Both Worlds, and expanded on a bit in First Contact. The Borg have obviously decided that they needed the awesomeness of Captain Picard in order to take the Omega particle. No, I don't really know why they came up with that idea either, because it didn't really work that well for them in the past either. But anyway, they have done. As you've noticed, Locutus's cube is bigger than pretty much any other Borg cube, and it's exceedingly powerful as well because I don't have to research the holding beam for it. For this mission, the usual idea is to go around the map and assimilate various factions in the area, but you don't really need to. You may need to on the hardest difficulties, but I don't think you need to here. Locutus's cube is just massively overpowering, so you really, here we go, we're just going to grab a Romulan warbird while I'm at it.
We are the Borg. We will comply.
And as long as you keep the Locutus and the construction ships safe, which is quite easy to do, you're going to be able to set yourself up quite easily. You are going to have to one base at the beginning, so don't really rely on building up your own forces too much. But there's a reason that this mission is called Assimilation. If the Romulans actually just left you alone at this point, there'd be almost no way you could build up your forces to a strong enough level where you would be able to threaten them. But because they keep sending ships your way, you get the chance to use Locutus to go on a little bit of an assimilation hunt, and that's the idea of this entire mission. Romulan Phoenix, sorry, not Phoenix, Griffin. God, I hope it's not a Phoenix ship. Locutus would be dead very quickly. So we're going to see very little of the map actually here.
We serve the collective.
As I said, usually you might go around the sector trying to assimilate people, but this is the most expedient route.
Activate all
I don't want to really spend too long on these missions, and I think this is the best way to accomplish this mission.
Unassimilated species engaged.
Once again, Locutus is just going to assimilate anything he can get his holding beam on.
The collective must grow. Activate all alcoves.
And that includes this dilithium freighter.
We serve the collective.
So we're going to recrew the mining facility now, and this gives us the ability to go ahead and build up our base.
The collective must grow.
My ship's being a pain in the ass at this point. It's getting in the way of my construction vessel.
Confirmed.
I'm going to put my Nexus directly in front of the mining facility. I really don't want it to be attacked. And until I can build up a shipyard so I'm able to repair my ships, I'm going to put them behind the moon as well, and essentially just use Locutus to defend myself for the moment. And don't worry, he's perfectly capable of doing so.
Species engaged.
Sensor jammer there from the Griffin, but again, a Griffin is no match for Locutus, and he's certainly not a match for anything he's going to find back here either. It's a bit annoying seeing the Romulans in this mission because they're grey, so they kind of blend. They're colour-coded grey, so they kind of blend into the background, which is really irritating. But Locutus taking his time to squeeze through the starbase there, and yep. So that's another warbird added to the fleet. I'm just going to recrew off my dilithium refinery here. I don't really want my warbirds in red crew, just due to the fact that they don't operate that efficiently when they are at red crew. I'm going to build a Borg dilithium matrix as opposed to a Romulan one, just because the it allows me to build the Borg dilithium freighter. I can't actually build them with an assimilated Romulan one, but it does allow me to get some dilithium in the bank early, and it also means I don't have to build that many freighters. So it's certainly still worth assimilating the Romulan dilithium moon. And I'm going to recrew Locutus because, once again, he's a bit low for assimilating. Fortunately, the Borg are extremely good at repairing their ships as well as attacking the crews on other ships. So they are.
The collective must grow.
They get shields on their ships up fairly quickly. I'm going to try and grab this Shadow class vessel. The main reason being that Shadow class ships are extremely expensive, so I can grab a lot of dilithium off them. Doesn't look like I'm going to be able to keep it though, because this warbird has decided to interfere.
We serve the collective.
So I'll assimilate the warbird instead. That seems like a fair strategy. As you can see, Locutus is winning this mission pretty much on his own.
I am Locutus of Vor.
And the Romulans are back, so let's grab him again. They really don't learn their lesson in this. I'm just going to continue assimilating warbirds. So, you know, without even building a shipyard at this point, I've got what, 5 Romulan warbirds? 4 or 5? I can't remember. So I'm going to build a shipyard now, and that'll allow me to repair all my ships and recrew them.
We require regeneration.
There we go.
By your command.
And get the modification center down, because that will allow me to research holding beam for my other cubes that I do plan on building at least some.
By your command.
It will also allow me to get regeneration on the spheres.
Vessel designated for disassembly.
I am Locutus of Vor.
Although at this point I decide to take a slightly different approach, and I am disassembling all my medium strength ships. So I decide I'm just going to go for high-tech units, so in doing so I'm just getting dilithium from wherever I can, which does include assimilating shadows. You'll notice that warbird has just exploded in a rather nice pink explosion. What that means is that the ship has activated its self-destruct system, The only ships that have that are the top tier units, so it'll be the crew, the Cube, the Sovereign class ship, the Warbird, and the Klingon Natevar.
We will comply.
And again, that self-destruct sequence, what it basically does is it destroys the ship, sending out a shockwave, and it essentially means that it stops you from assimilating it, or from taking it over. And it's a sort of last-ditch desperation thing, but I think once you've shown the AI that you're going to do nothing but assimilate its ships, it starts thinking very much about how it's going to protect itself. I put down another Nexus because I really want the... because again, I really want the crew. Locutus is just going to do his thing again. Shadows are a particularly nasty ship to face because of their psychotic blast. I really don't. They work especially well against the Borg because it like destroys half your crew. So, you know, you're losing sort of 750 drones every time that they use that weapon. I'm putting down a sensor turret here because I've researched tachyon detection grid, and the Romulans do use cloaks, so I want to avoid that happening. As you can see, the Shadow just used the Psycho Blast on me, and Locutus's crew has fallen into the yellow already, and it just used it again, so... Locutus is going to be seriously low on crew at this point, and two Warbirds have just self-destructed rather than be assimilated, so that's really not that's not worked to my advantage at all. Locutus is down to 50 crew, so he's really going to drain my crew resources at this point. Come on, I have the room, get it put down. There. So that's the advanced assembly matrix going down. What I'm doing at this point is I'm trying to block off the wormhole. The Romulans do try and escape through it, which is a bit annoying. And that's the holding beam technology going down. If the Romulans do escape through it, I may have to go and find them at a later date. I might have to go hunting through the sector for them, because you do have to destroy every Romulan ship to win the mission, so that makes things a little bit annoying. So I'm just protecting this area with turrets and Nexi. The Nexi, of course, are going to give me the ability to build cubes at an accelerated rate. Oh, this is a pretty big fleet.
Unassimilated species engaged.
Stop using that Psycho Blast.
Their biological and technological distinctiveness will be added to our own.
Another Warbird self-destructs. And another one self-destructed. That's annoying. That one self-destructed after I'd assimilated it. So... obviously it sets the counter quite early for it, and once again Locutus has been nailed for crew, so I'm not doing too well as far as capturing ships at the moment.
The collective is under attack.
I decided I'm going to go the old-fashioned route here. We're going with transporters rather than holding beams. And also the weapon systems of this Warbird have been disabled, and I think the self-destruct counts as a weapon, so if you do disable the weapons on a ship with self-destruct, it can't actually self-destruct, so it's always one advantage. That's another Warbird to add to the fleet.
Unassimilated species engaged.
We're being attacked again. As you can see, the Romulans really do start coming quite aggressively, and this is why I've got this rather excessive build-up of turrets in my base.
Activate all alcos.
And for some reason this Warbird didn't self-destruct when it had the chance, so I now have 8 Romulan Warbirds.
The collective is under attack.
So, with 8 Warbirds on my side at this point, I'm just going to go for the... oh no, I am going to... no, I'm not. I decided to go for the destructing or destroying route now rather than the assimilating route. 8 warbirds should be more than enough to get what I want to have happen done.
Station construction complete. Initiating
And now we're going to start building cubes. And a raptor's been hiding down here for the start of this mission, but going to make sure that it gets what it deserves.
We require regeneration.
I'm going to disassemble it for dilithium. Every little bit helps because the Borg are expensive.
Unassimilated species engaged.
Ooh, got a shadow ship we're going to grab here.
Vessel designated for disassembly.
And that's going to be especially useful to us because again they're like 1300 dilithium shadows, something like that. So that gives us the chance to
Unassimilated species
have even more ships on our side.
We require regeneration.
And that's another warbird.
Activate all alcoves.
Now I have 8 warbirds. Apparently beforehand I had sort of 7 warbirds and Locutus. I'd rather not use Locutus to attack the Romulan base if I have a choice. But he's good if the Romulans are just going to keep sending shadows. Fortunately the holding beam has ridiculous range, as you can see here, so it's out of the range of the Shadow's Psychoblast, so that just means I'm going to keep getting dilithium, and pretty much for every shadow that I get in this game, I'm going to exchange that for a cube. Well, that was 2 cubes grabbing hold of a warbird now, so as you can see this is quickly becoming a one-way slaughter. And the Romulans just keep paying for ships and sending them in. I mean, as you can see, I've got 8 warbirds at my disposal now. I think I actually have more, but I haven't grouped them. And 8 warbirds is like 6,500 dilithium, and that's just something I've got free.
Unassimilated species engaged.
Thanks to assimilation, so just Locutus's cube was enough to buy me like 6,500 dilithium. And that's just an overwhelming advantage.
Realigning attack priorities.
Oh, Hollow Emitter, I hate this thing, but fortunately he didn't get all of my all of my warbirds, so I'm going to be able to use the remainder that are there to find the real shadow. Well, no, the shadow ran into my cubes, so that's not going to end well for him.
State objective.
I've got my ship set at yellow alert here because I want to capture the Romulan shipyard. Reason for this being that I want a place on the front line to repair all my ships. And it also gives me a look into the Romulan base, and I'll look at where the Romulans currently are.
The collective must grow.
So let's get everyone prepared, and then we will head into the Romulan base.
The collective.
I don't think they're going to last very long. And instead of destroying the Romulan base, I'm going to assimilate the vast majority of it. I'm going to destroy the turrets, obviously, because there's not really much point in keeping turrets around. I actually want to assimilate the Romulan base because it would allow me to have the shield inversion beam if any of the Romulans have actually escaped. So if they have it, it just means I have all their special weapons at my disposal. I'm not going to bother assimilating this dilithium area. Pretty simple. Just destroy it. I'm leaving the starbase alone, obviously, because that's got to be assimilated. I believe this is where the Romulans are hiding Omega. And I'm also going to destroy this construction ship because I don't want the Romulans building any defences or anything else on my time. Always make sure you're very surgical with these strikes, because as you've seen in my Klingon run, the AI will build back its forces if you give it enough time. But we're approaching the end of this mission here. It's only really the cleanup of the Romulan base that we're going to end up watching at this point. For some reason, any and all ships that did escape, and a couple did escape as you can see on the minimap, but they decided to come back into my minefield of turrets and star bases, so there's actually nothing left out of this mission. If I had to go hunting, I would have found things like Federation battling Breen and Klingons fighting Breen and things like that. So unfortunately we don't get to see those in this mission, but that just basically means I've been quite efficient in completing the mission, so I'm not going to be too upset about that. So I'll let you watch the ending to this mission, and thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.
Unassimilated species engaged. Assimilate this vessel. The collective is under attack.
Relocate. Proceed. Death is irrelevant. We are the Borg. We are one. We are one.
We serve the collective. Activate all alcoves. Proceed. By your command, unassimilated species engaged.
State objective. Proceed.
Realigning attack priorities.
State objective.
Assigning designations. Station designated for disassembly.
The collective must grow. We require regeneration.
Proceed to sector. State objective. Vessel designated for disassembly. Station designated for disassembly. Negotiation is irrelevant. Vessel designated for disassembly. Remodulate shields. Unassimilated species engaged. Negotiation is irrelevant. State new directive. Vessel designated for disassembly. Unassimilated species engaged. We serve the collective. We require regeneration.
We are the Borg.
Assigning designations.
The collective must grow. I will comply. Death is irrelevant. Objective complete. The Omega particle is secure. Prepare Particle 010 for transport.
Preparations commencing. Accessing Romulan database. Vital information retrieved. The Federation is sending an ambassador to negotiate an alliance between the Klingons and the Romulans.
Such a union would jeopardize our plans to assimilate the Alpha Quadrant. Send a cube to capture the Federation ambassador. All other units initiate new primary objective. Return Omega to Unimatrix 001.